Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Accepted Authority. I'm Andy Marmont.
And I'm Greg Roworth.
And today, as always, we're going to talk about how to solve common client acquisition challenges in the world of consulting, share some stories, and share how we're also tackling this particular challenge. So today, what we're going to talk about is trying to overcome that low and slow sales cycle, because we know that not everyone's ready to buy what we have to offer. And particularly in consulting, it can be a slow and long process, who you know, or you've got to be in at the right time. So we're going to talk about some strategies around how to nurture and engage the people that aren't ready, but you want to keep top of mind in the long term. So what do you reckon, Greg? Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, I think as you've mentioned the buyer journey there, I think that's where a lot of consultants are often, leaving that whole process to the buyer and, being caught up in that long sales cycle that, the buyer will take you through. And often, if you're not taking control over that, the part you play in that buyer's journey, you actually are abdicating the whole process to your clients and get caught up in that competitive area where they're deciding whether you're right for them, or they're going to market and getting quotes from other people and looking at proposals from a whole range of people. My experience is having first of all understood there is such a thing as a buyer's journey, and it'd be worth explaining what that is, but being able to participate in that buyer's journey and actually become the authority through that buyer's journey is a very effective way to eliminate your competition through that process. So, would you like to explain what that buyer's journey is and the accepted, pathway that most clients go through before they make a decision?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Drew. I think the simplest way to define it, there's sort of three different levels. First of all, there's the awareness level. So we need people to be aware of what you provide, and majority of people in your target market will not be aware. They might not be aware. They also might not be thinking about it. Or they could be aware of what you do. So the job at the very start is through the idea of doing content marketing, so creating resources and blog posts and in the webinars and things like this. It's about engaging and giving people value to understand, well, this is, I've never heard of Concurve, never heard of Business Pipeline, but now I have. And they seem to be talking the same language as me. So first level is awareness. And then there's that consideration phase next. So they know they know what you do, they know who you serve. And then it's about basically assessing and seeing, well, are you the right fit for me? Are you the right fit for me now? Do you share the same values? Do you offer solutions for the problems that I have? And again, that can be in sort of different sorts of ways. Again, it might be for you, it might be a demo of your solution. It might be a strategy call to talk about challenges. It might be a workshop where you can offer some insight. So there's that consideration phase. It might be a resource, a research paper. And then the last one is really that, that conversion or that soul piece where they've gone through they've done their due diligence, and now they're at a stage where they're interested and they're ready to buy. Now, some people can go straight to that conversion. They're already, they're primed, they're ready, they've got their checkbook out. But quite often we need to go through that, developing that relationship, just like we would do offline. If we go to a networking event or a meeting, we have to do the same when it comes to our online space. So
yeah.
What do you reckon, Greg? Is that summed it up okay?
Yeah, very well. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that, as consultants, we often have not really been aware of that process that our clients will go through before they come to us, and we're used to getting referrals. Now we're getting clients who've actually been through that consideration or the awareness phase, becoming aware that they actually have a problem in the first place, and then looking to become aware of what the solutions are, and then going through that consideration phase. And often that process involves, talking to other people they know about the problems they're having and help.
Yes.
And you'll get a referral. And so as a referral, and so you'll have that conversation at that ready to buy stage. They're not coming directly from a referral. So they've had a referral from somebody else, and they're just going to market to see what else other people have to offer. So they'll come to you with a request for a proposal, and you go in to that point. What you'll find, I think most consultants will probably feel this way, is that you're up against the wall here, trying to prove your value in a very short time, condensed process. Or what tends to happen is sometimes that the buyers that buying cycle can be stretched out because your clients are potentially in a state of confusion because they don't really know how to decide. And what we all know and we all say is that clients go through a process of know, like, trust before they're ready to buy. So if you're coming in at the stage where they're requesting a proposal, you've got to build that whole know, like, trust in a sales conversation. So that's almost impossible to do in one sales conversation unless you're a brilliant salesperson. And I know from my perspective, I've never been a brilliant salesperson, and able to go in and have a sales conversation and convert somebody straight away, unless I've participated in that buyer's journey along the way. And
I'm interested. Sorry, Greg. I'm just interested. Just what you're saying there is we need to rethink the activity that's happening. So the lead isn't necessarily going to be someone who's ready to buy. I think when we're in business, I guess we go straight to that idea of, okay, we've got a lead. They've done, they're ready to pull out the checkbook, as I said, but that's not the case, is it? That they almost sometimes they're just learning. They want to learn about your company. Maybe they've heard of your name or they've seen you, and they might have something in maybe 6 months down the line. So I guess it's probably worth pointing out, if you're watching, you're listening, we just need to be aware that there's a difference between good quality marketing qualified leads, so they come towards you because they've seen your content, but then there's the sales qualified. So it's not always a quick fix.
Good point, Andrew. I think the value of understanding this process is we can create our marketing, the buying strategy of our ideal clients. And so, understand that our clients are going through this process. The the real danger that we have is not participating because our clients are going through this journey, researching what the solutions to their problem are, then researching who are the providers of that solution, and then they'll come to us right at that end point when they're ready to buy. But if we haven't shown up in that journey along the way, and they're just coming to us at that end point, there's no real level of trust that's developed, and we're having to fight our battle at that last point, trying to prove that we're the best solution. They've already, they've got 3 or 4 other people telling them the same things. So the real key to this process is to take control of your whole marketing process by having content. And as you pointed out, there's content that we can provide on LinkedIn or social media or other venues, maybe through networking groups or whatever it might be. A website obviously plays part in this, where we're providing content the client's problems than about who we are. And the term for this in the marketing circles is entering the conversation that's already in the mind of the client. So they're not thinking concurve, or they're not thinking business flight path at this point. They're thinking, I've got a real problem with X. I'm not sure how to solve this problem. So if our marketing content which is not necessarily even marketing content, it's just educational content, where we're talking about how to solve problem X, that's going to capture the attention of our clients. At this stage, if we're saying Concur does this, that, and the other for clients, it's not even relevant to them. It won't capture their attention because they're not ready for that message. They're ready for, how do I solve this problem? So if we're engaging them at that point of awareness of the problem and starting to become aware of the solution, and we're actually influencing their journey through that point, we start to show up as an authority in that area. With our content, we show that we actually understand them and know what they're going through. Then we can take them to the next point of consideration about what are the best solutions for that problem. And again, if we're in an educational framework, selling ourselves, we're again showing up as an authority who knows what we're talking about, rather than someone who's trying to sell our services.
Exactly. And if I could share a quick story, I was chatting to a colleague of mine. I worked with him 10 years ago in a consulting firm, big consulting firm, and I reached out to him and said, "Hey, hope it's all going well. How's it going at your company? We're doing this at the moment, helping consulting owners grow through the system. Would you be interested?" And he said, the first thing that he said, and I haven't spoken to him for 10 years. He said, "I've been following what you do, and you're doing some amazing stuff." And when I spoke to him on the phone, he said, all the things that you're doing, part of that led me to this conversation here, because you're actually talking about the things that are in my alleyway. We talked about positioning, we talked about how to get your right value proposition, and that's all the stuff that I'd been banging on about for months and months, because it was obviously relevant to someone like him. And that circumnavigates the idea of, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you go about doing things? So in that little conversation, I think that it just illustrates that point. If you can really focus on, the top 3 or 6 things that your ideal client, your premium client struggles with, and then work out how you can tell those stories, then that's really the formula to build that awareness stage.
That's right.
Would you reckon, Greg?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely correct. So, that's where you do get the attention of your ideal clients, by recognizing those 3, maybe 6 specific challenges they might have, or even the one main challenge that they're focused on. If you can talk about that in a way that I've heard it said, if you can articulate the client's problem even better than they can, then you are an obvious authority in that area. And so they will pay attention to what you have to say at that point, and will start to want to learn from you. So you actually influence that buyer's journey, because when they come across that sort of content, and fairly short content, because people don't have big attention spans, but if we capture their attention, and with a short piece of content, the response we want to generate from them is, wow, that was good. What else does that guy have to say?
Yeah.
And they'll go searching for the next thing, or ideally you even create a breadcrumb in that content that leads them to the next thing you want to take them to. That then educates them at the next level, and takes them through, well, if you've got this problem, here's this recommended solution.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they will automatically follow that train of thought and want to know that solution from you. Now, when that solution makes sense and you position it in a way that's, again, not salesy, but educational, at the end point of that, you've virtually convinced them that this is the solution they need. Then they come to you with checkbook in hand saying, yeah. And so that buyer's cycle, that buying cycle, through that buyer's journey, because you've positioned yourself as the authority, they see you as the authority across that journey to know you, like you, and trust you already before they even come to a sales meeting. And they can come virtually pre-sold, ready to buy, wanting to become a client, rather than you having to convince them that you're the best solution for them. They're already in that state of mind and coming to you, and sometimes begging to be taken on as a client.
Wow, how good would that be? Assessing, not impressing. That's that position, the power position we talk about. That's all we've got time for today, Greg. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks everyone for watching. We've got another great topic next week. We're going to look at more of, we're going to figure out what that topic is and make sure you come back to our YouTube channel, and obviously if you're watching this on LinkedIn. So Greg, where can we connect with you?
Yeah, probably the best place is on LinkedIn. Just search for Greg Roworth on LinkedIn and I'll come up there. Business Flight Path is my business name. So you could also go to my website, businessflightpath.com, and I've got some good content on there that will probably talk about the specific problem that you might be having. Connect with me there. And how about you? Where can people connect with you?
On LinkedIn at Andy Marmont, or our website is Concurve, conqurve.com.au. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Great. Thanks, Andrew.